I lived on a farm when we lived hard and hungry sometimes, but there was 9 of us in the family, and I was in the middle of it. When I was a little kid, we went to Sunday school with a horse and buggy. When my dad wanted feed for the cattle, he would get the wagon or the bobsleigh in the winter. He'd leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he wouldn't get back till 5 at night from the mill. And later on, in about 1930, my dad bought a car and tried to go to church and Sunday school, but he couldn't drive worth a hoot. He was in the ditch all the time. When we got so we could drive the car around the farm before we were 16, we were good drivers by comparison. When I was a child, my brother and I, we hunted. We hunted fur-bearing animals. That was our spending money. If you want to go back and way back then. We needed money, there was no money. And the skunk hide would bring, a good skunk hide would bring $10. And one with a big white stripes, it would have been $2 or $3 for it. But if we hunted the skunks where the hereditary, they only had a little narrow strip on them. So we would get the pliers and pull the white hair out, and we would sell it as a black skunk, and he was worth $10. But that was where we got money, and maybe we were 10, 12 years old. And the mink, we got mink, they were $20 at that. You know what $20 was them days? The milk check for a month would be $15 for 30 days from 20 cows. So it was big money, but see, we never got any wages working for Dad on the farm. But we were allowed to hunt and trap. Then we got a little bigger, we brought venison in. My dad frowned on that because he never fired a gun in his life. He didn't know where we got it from, but it was my mother's side. But when we brought venison in the house, my mother smiled. She had food. Well, I finished school when I was 12 years old, and I farmed till I was about 17 or 18, then I ran away and worked at General Motors in St. Catharines. I worked for 6 years in General Motors, running machines in there, drilling and tapping and machining all the gearboxes and stuff with cars at that era. I joined the service in '42. I was a licensed mechanic in peacetime, and Air Force, oh, you're a mechanic. I only had a grade 8 education, so they wouldn't let me fly. Then I went to night school in the Air Force, and I qualified for aircrew. Then we went to a flying school, and I stayed there till I got my wings as a navigator. And aviation was a new world, not like today. Aviation was only starting. Joining the service was the biggest change in my lifestyle, from a farm boy to that. After the war, we didn't get paid worth a hoot that time, but my brother bought some war assets. He bought 11 Cornells, and I was an aero engine mechanic, so that's where I got my most flying, my free flying in. We took 2 fences out on his farm and leveled it off, and that was our runway. Every Saturday and Sunday we had a gang around there just playing, yes. No plan at all. He was a farmer and I was a mechanic. 11 years a tobacco farmer. I worked about 6 or 7 years on Baffin Island. I flew there back and forth. Well, I was a master plumber, electrician, everything. Water systems for the natives. I went to another company from Newfoundland, and I worked for them for 3 years. I worked the building trade in between, built houses. Me and another guy built houses in between. Then when I got old enough to go to Florida, I bought a boat down there, and then I became an art fisherman then. I have a pilot's license till I was 80 years old. And when I retired in Florida, everybody wanted me to play softball, or slow pitch. At 94, I couldn't see the ball coming. I got macular degeneration and my eyes failed. I was born on a farm. I knew all about hardship. My theory is that if it's difficult, I can do it. If it's impossible, it takes a little longer. One story I haven't told you, when I come home for Christmas at the Air Force, the bus let me off at the highway, and it's 2 miles down the side road, and the snow was up to the telephone wires. I walked over the wires.